Hi everyone, Bernie here from Stampin'Up and welcome back to my craft room this week. Super excited to have you join me. In this week's video, I'm going to be featuring the Everyday Details bundle that is making a massive impact in the crafting world among Stampin' Up demonstrators. So join me as we have a little bit of a play, and I hope you love crafting with this bundle as much as what I've been. Let's go to my desk. So welcome to my desk, and today I'm going to be doing a cute little card using the Everyday Details die. It's a cling stamp set. It's got these beautiful images that are open line images so that you can do some coloring in. And then it has these beautiful dies. They're really interesting, that create these little holes in them. And you may have been seeing them. So we've got circles, we've got rectangle, and I'm going to be using this one, which actually creates a very interesting feature on the card. And this is the card that we're going to be making today. So there's a little bit of coloring in, and there are those little dots that are going to be just adding a little bit of interest to what could be a very simple card. So let's get started. I'm using copper clay for my base, and for the designer series paper, I thought I would haul out an old favorite on Earthen Elegance. And it's just exactly the same size designer series paper that matches with my card base, so just cut it to match your card base. I am going to be using my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine for this, so that I can demonstrate to you how this die works. So I'm placing the designer series paper on top, and I'm going to be using this die and just placing it over the top. So I will just roll it through like this, and I will repeat that one more time, and I'm just going to do that one last time at the bottom. So as you can see here, there are these lovely detailed holes, and I'm just going to adhere a little bit of glue in between the gaps. You don't want too much, otherwise it's going to leak. I'll just add that on to the card front. Cool. And that will just need to be trimmed off a little bit. All right, now I'm going to do the coloring in. So for the coloring in, I'm going to be using Memento Black, and I'm going to be creating it with the teacup. So I'm just going to ink my Memento upside down. I prefer to do it, and I also just like to rub it ever so gently. Close it straight away so that it doesn't mess. And I'm positioning it in the bottom right hand corner of my piece of basic white cardstock. And now I'm going to be using some blends, and I've got a variety of different colors. I've got Flirty Flamingo, Fresh Freesia, Old Olive, and Pool Party. And I'm just going to color in my flower and now my leaves using light Old Olive. And then I'm using Pool Party, the light, and what I am doing is I'm just going to color in where the artist has drawn those lines for us. So I don't even have to think about where the shading is going to be. I am literally just putting my alcohol blending pen in that area, and they have done all the hard work. And now I'm going to go back with my Flirty Flamingo onto my flower. And with a little bit of dark Old Olive. And this kind of coloring is really suitable for beginners. You don't need to know how to color in because Stampin' Up have provided all of that for you. And I'm going to go in one last time, and then I'm finished with my colouring, and back with my Highland Heather just to add extra interest there. Now I'm going to adhere this, but before I adhere it, I want to bring in my ribbon, and I am using the Center Stripe ribbon, which actually is part of the Garden Meadow suite, but it really works well with these colors. I'm just wrapping some around the back of my cardstock, and then I'm going to place a strip of tear and tape. So I'm leaving that bit there so I know where I want my tear and tape to go. Bringing that round, flicking it over, and now I can repeat on the other side. I personally prefer tear and tape for working with my ribbon, but of course you could also use your Stampin' Seal. Righto, so I'm not going to glue those or tie a knot on those. I am putting dimensionals at the back of this section. Okay, now I am placing this in the middle of my card, and then bringing in some twine, and I'm going to tuck it in underneath rather generously so that I can make a nice bow. Grabbing those together and creating a pretty bow, cutting that with my scissor, and now I can trim off those ends. The last thing that we need to do is the sentiment, which I'm going to be die cutting with the frame that belongs to the Essential Detail die, and then I will be heat embossing it with the sentiment. I've cut out my die. I'm just going to prep it for my heat emboss. I'm putting my chamois over, just rubbing it off with my paintbrush, stamping it with my Versamark. Now I have found that this, when I stamp with it, it is a little bit skewer. Alright, so on that, even skewer. I must have put my stamp on a little bit skewer than I wanted to. White embossing powder, and I will now heat emboss the sentiment. Now that I've done my heat embossing, I'm just going to apply that onto the back of that ribbon using 3 dimensionals, and I'm going to butt that right up underneath there. There we go. So nice, simple, easy card featuring the brand new Everyday Details stamp and the die set. So I hope you find this inspiring. Leave me a comment if you do. Be sure to like my video, please. It really helps with the algorithms for YouTube. And if you like what you've seen here today, please think about subscribing, clicking the bell for all notifications as I come in live every Tuesday night, as well as a pre-recorded video like this one on a Thursday at 7 o'clock New Zealand time. So thank you so much for crafting with me. I look forward to seeing you back next week. And remember, until we meet again, to stamp, to eat, to sleep, and repeat. Bye!